Have you ever had one of those days where your to-do list is a mile long, your phone won't stop buzzing, and your brain feels like it's just screaming, too much? You might be sitting still, but inside your heart is racing. You feel anxious, tense, and completely exhausted, and yet you've barely done anything. That, my friends, is the feeling of being overwhelmed. It's something so many of us experience, yet we rarely talk about where it comes from, what it means, or how we can work through it in a healthy way. So, why do we get overwhelmed feelings? What's actually happening in our brains and bodies when we feel that way? And most importantly, what can we do about it? To feel overwhelmed is to feel like life is too much, too fast, too loud, too demanding. It's a state where your mind and emotions are overloaded, and your ability to think clearly or cope effectively starts to shut down. You feel buried, trapped, maybe even paralyzed. Overwhelm isn't just about being busy. It's about the perception that the demands on us, emotionally, mentally, physically, exceed our capacity to manage them, and that's important. It's not just about how much we have to do, but how capable we feel of doing it. When your brain senses a threat, whether it's a real danger or just a mountain of emails, it activates the spontaneous stress response system. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, sounds off. The hypothalamus kicks in. Your body starts pumping out cortisol and adrenaline. This is the famous fight, flight, or freeze response. It's great if you're being chased by a tiger, not so great when you're just trying to answer emails or juggle work and family responsibilities. Your heart rate speeds up, your muscles tense, your mind races. You may even feel dizzy, irritable, or short of breath. And if that stress builds over time without release, the body can stay in a chronic state of tension, which can lead to burnout, anxiety, and yes, overwhelming feelings. But why do we get overwhelmed in the first place then? Let's face it, modern life is fast. We're expected to be constantly connected, productive, responsive, informed, social, and successful all at once. We multitask constantly, and we're told that if we just manage our time better, everything will be fine. But overwhelm doesn't usually come from poor time management. It comes from poor energies management, from being stretched in too many directions with too little recovery. Another reason is perfectionism and high expectations. A lot of us hold ourselves to impossibly high standards. We want to do it all, do it well, and never drop the ball. But here's the truth. Perfectionism is one of the biggest drivers of overwhelm. When you believe that anything less than perfect is failure, everything feels high stakes. Every task becomes a source of stress. There's no room to breathe. One more important reason is emotional overload. Sometimes it's not just tasks or responsibilities, it's feelings. Grief, anxiety, anger, guilt, even joy. Our emotions take up space, and when we suppress them, ignore them, or stack them on top of each other without processing them, we become emotionally flooded. That's another form of overwhelm, when we don't know what we're feeling, but it's a lot. Lacking of boundaries is also a big reason why we feel overwhelmed. When we say yes to everything and everyone, we end up saying no to ourselves. Without boundaries, whether it's at work, in relationships, or in how we spend our time, we invite constant demands into our lives. And eventually it catches up with us. Overwhelm is often the body's way of saying, "You're doing too much, but none of it is for you." Now, it's one thing to be overwhelmed by circumstances, but often our thoughts make it 10 times worse. A lot of us have a habit of imagining the worst-case scenario. If I don't get this done, I'll lose my job. If I mess this up, everyone will judge me. These thoughts turn pressure into panic. Or have you ever catch yourself lost in all or nothing thinking? If I can't do everything perfectly, I might as well not try. This kind of thinking adds unnecessary pressure and discourages small steps. Or when we scroll through social media, we compare ourselves to others. We start to believe we're falling behind, that everyone else is handling life better. And that adds shame on top of stress. Sound familiar? These are common, and they're the things make us human. But the more we become aware of them, the more power we have to change them. But sometimes we don't even realize we're overwhelmed until we hit a breaking point. So here are a few signs to watch for. You're irritable or snappy for no clear reason. You feel mentally foggy or can't focus. You start avoiding things you usually handle. You feel exhausted even after resting. You cry more easily or feel numb. You start losing interest in things you love. These signs are not weakness, they're signals. Your body and mind are trying to get your attention. Now for the most important part, how do we move through overwhelm instead of getting stuck in it? Before anything else, give yourself permission to stop. Not forever, just long enough to interrupt the spiral. Take a few deep breaths. Get back into your body. This tells your nervous system, I'm safe, I'm okay. Never underestimate the power of a 60-second pause. Another important thing is clarity. Clarity is calming. When you can say, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I've taken on too much, or I'm emotionally overloaded, you start to regain control. Vagueness fuels anxiety. Naming it helps tame it. And when everything feels like too much, simplify. Write down what's overwhelming you. Then break each task into the next small step. Not the whole project, just the next action. Momentum is built one tiny step at a time. If your brain is already full, don't keep shoveling in more. That might mean logging off social media, muting notifications, turning off the news for a bit. Quieting the noise around you can help you hear what you actually need. And this is a big one. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to take a break. You are allowed to ask for help. Boundaries are not selfish. They are essential. If you're feeling overwhelmed, the last thing you need is to beat yourself up about it. You are not failing. You're feeling. And feelings are not flaws. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. With patience, with grace, with kindness. Overwhelm is not the enemy. It's uncomfortable, yes. But it's also a message. It's your inner system saying something needs to change. Maybe you need rest. Maybe you need support. Maybe you need to let go of something that's no longer serving you. Overwhelm isn't just a sign of doing too much. It's often a sign of caring too much, holding too much, and not allowing yourself enough room to just be. Sometimes the way out isn't to push through. It's to slow down, to listen, to find the things that truly matter to you and focus on those things only. And to trust that you don't have to carry everything alone. Life can be chaotic, messy, beautiful, and hard. Because we care. Because we want to do well. Because we want to be everything to everyone. Feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're alive. And being alive comes with a full range of emotions, not just the easy ones. You don't have to be superhuman. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to keep coming back to yourself. One breath at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. And always do good for yourself so you can have full of energy to do good for others.